Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. And another heavyweight news mashup video today, and a few things to get through, starting off with a potential undisputed fight. As we know, in recent weeks, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua announced via Eddie Hearn that they had agreed to fight, but they still needed a venue. So they're working through site fees, offers, all that sort of stuff. And Tyson Fury has dropped a video on a social media commenting on the situation.
Just had some big news, 3 or 4 big offers on the table. Interest from Saudi Arabia, my gypsy brothers in Qatar, Uzbekistan, Russia, America, England. There's some big offers on the table. I'm going to go through them on Sunday, and hopefully we get this big fight on and let me smash this big dosser, a big useless dosser, let me say, because when I get him, I'm going to give him that, yeah, big dosser.
And on the back of that statement, so Anthony Joshua, through his management company, 258 Management, has stated, quick update, myself at 258 Management and Matchroom are working really hard to make the fight happen. I want to give my fans what they want, and you know I'll do whatever I can to deliver. Hoping to share some positive news soon. And Frank Warren, one of the promoters involved in this whole undisputed equation, he's just tempering expectations, saying, I know what everyone wants to hear, but I don't want to tell people what they want to hear. I want to tell them this is what's happening. So I guess a little bit of water to still go under the bridge, and this is the thing, signing a contract saying we'll fight, but without the venue, I mean, we're still sort of waiting on tenterhooks. Will they, won't they? When will this thing happen? And they did say that they had 28 days to get a deal done, so we're well past the halfway mark of that, so I guess we'll see what happens. But, you know, tentatively, this is looking promising, but, I mean, it's boxing. Who really knows at the end of the day? The Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn says he'd like to make a fight between WBC interim champion and the winner of the upcoming fight between undefeated American heavyweights Jermaine Franklin and Stephan Shaw, both of whom are undefeated. So that fight takes place on April the 22nd on NBC as part of the Ring City series. And that's a very good fight. And for the winner, if they were to manage to get a Dillian Whyte fight, that would certainly be sort of quite a coup, I believe, because, you know, after this, the question would be where would they go? And if they were to take a fight with Dillian Whyte, that would certainly be a lucrative fight and a great opportunity for both. And actually, you could probably argue, because I do think that Stephan Shaw is going to win that fight with Franklin. Franklin, his style, the way that he fights, and he is a very sort of compact, powerful fighter, very, you know, decent skills, could be a potential banana skin for a guy like Dillian Whyte. Stephan Shaw certainly is more in the prime of his career. I would pick Whyte to beat Franklin at this point, but I think Shaw is going to come through that fight with Franklin. Whyte and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, do seem wedded to a potential fight in the United States, and they have also called out recently Trevor Bryan, also saying that they want a slightly, not easier, but not as tough a fight as he has been sort of the opposition he's been facing recently. But, you know, sometimes if you try to take what you perceive to be a step down, sometimes you might get a bit of a surprise, and I think Stephan Shaw would certainly be a handful for Dillian Whyte, although Whyte would go in the favourite. And Whyte, obviously, as well, on social media, he has been calling out Deontay Wilder, saying that he will also fight Deontay Wilder in Alabama if that's what it's going to take to make him feel secure and safe enough to take the fight, as he says. He adds he can have the home judges, his hometown. I'd even fight him in his own home. I just want to get a hold of him and hurt him. And another guy that's called out Dillian Whyte is Otto Wallin. And actually, I think this fight makes some sense. Wallin coming off a good win over Dominic Breazeale, and I think at a level where he's ready to challenge guys like Dillian Whyte, and I think we could go into that fight going, this is a reasonably competitive fight, although Whyte would be the favourite. But I do think that that would be quite an awkward style matchup for Dillian Whyte, and I think Otto Wallin would fancy his chances in that one. But the reality of him getting that fight fight? Well, that's another question, but he certainly is based in the United States at the moment. He is a Swedish heavyweight fighter, trains out of New York, has been fighting in the United States. So certainly I could see that being a potential option, but I do think that Whyte is certainly, of the names that are out there at the moment, he seemingly is looking for an American to face in his next fight in America. The purse bid for an IBF eliminator between Michael Hunter and Filip Hrgovic has been postponed. So Michael Hunter, see here on screen, says purse bid postponed again. And below that there was a tweet by Dan Raphael who says, per IBF letter to its registered promoters this morning, the Michael Hunter vs Filip Hrgovic purse bid had been postponed. The rescheduled date will be announced at a later time if necessary. And as I understand it, this is an eliminator that is not an enforced eliminator, but rather one that is more a voluntary eliminator. So if the fight happens, it will be recognized and treated as an eliminator. And this is a fight I really haven't sort of gotten too much into, Hrgovic and Hunter, because I wasn't convinced it was going to happen. And the wheels seem to be falling off, at least to some degree. So I don't know what's really happening here, if it's going to go ahead. But these guys, yeah, they need to fight, and this is a very good one if they do end up meeting each other in the ring. And Michael Hunter, he's also called out Dillian Whyte on Twitter saying, bro, at Dillian Whyte, you really trying to come to America in the summer? And certainly that would be a very good fight. And I would favour that out of all the other matchups at the moment. I think Michael Hunter versus Dillian Whyte is a very good fight. And I think Hunter gives Whyte all he can handle. It would be a very interesting and awkward style matchup for Dillian Whyte. Hunter does have that sort of in and out style, and he is quite accurate. He is a risk taker, but he can be hit. And we've seen him in some very good fights in recent years. So hopefully, if something was to happen, and but I'm not sure that Dillian Whyte is looking in that direction, but I do like that fight. Joe Joyce has said, all this talk of who's fighting for the British heavyweight title, who says I'm vacating. And then he's got some emojis, hashtag the juggernaut. And there has been a lot of talk. Is Fabio Wardley going to be fighting for the British title? Nathan Gorman, Nick Webb's name has even been tossed in there after his recent win. And Joyce is the current holder, and I guess people thought he would be vacating it, dropping it at some point if he was to face Alexander Usyk. And I guess this sort of talk from him on social media, it will get some people questioning, actually, is he facing Alexander Usyk? There, is meant to be this WBO interim heavyweight title, but it's all gone a bit quiet, and different people involved in that have said really it isn't that far progressed in terms of making a deal. I think some of the dominoes with that sort of fight would fall if an undisputed fight was made. I think Alexander Usyk, who's the WBO mandatory at the moment, probably wants to see what Joshua is going to do. But yeah, interesting statement there from Joe Joyce. What do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often. Hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.